Hey guys, today I'm going to do the review for the Hallowed ones by Bickle, I believe. Yes, cover of it looks like this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started because I can feel that this one could turn into a very long one. First, the plot. Our main character, Katie, is a girl living in an Amish community. She has lived there her entire life and is about to go on her rumspringa, which is a ceremony that Amish kids do before they get baptized. They go out into the outside world, our world, and get to experience all kinds of things from smoking, drinking, reading books they're not allowed to read, watching TV, going to movies, riding motorcycles, etc., etc. Katie has always shown a slight tendency to rebel, and the rumspringa is very special to her and she's extremely excited to go. She feels that she needs to do this. Unfortunately, before she's able to experience the outside world the way that she wants to, there's a biochemical explosion somewhere on the continent of the United States of America that causes people to go rabid. The infection spreads around the world really quickly and wipes out most of the human population within a short amount of time, though we don't get to discover this until later on during the story. The Amish elders decide that in order to keep their community safe from being contaminated from whatever is causing these riots, that they will be closing off their community to the outside world and forbidding anyone from the Amish community from leaving it. So nobody goes out and nobody comes in. Shortly after the Amish elders decide to keep everyone in the community, Katie finds an injured man about 24 years old lying on the outskirts of the fence in one of the fields of the community. And she informs her father, who informs the elders, and they come over and look, and instead of making the decision to pull him in and save his life, they bring a shotgun with them and intend to kill him. Katie stops them from doing that and tells them to let God decide whether he should suffer a long and torturous death and slow death, or whether he should be shot quickly, to leave that decision up to, or not be shot quickly, but die quickly, leave that decision up to the God. That was weird. Up to God. What am I? I'm turning into Battlestar Galactica, to the gods. Ah. Later on, not wanting the young man to die, Katie pulls him in and hides him in a barn that is abandoned, where she keeps her golden retriever dogs that she's in charge of breeding the puppies from. So she puts him in there and nurses him back to health. In order to do that, she has to leave the community and go into town to get some medical supplies like antibiotics. So she leaves the community without being allowed to and goes into the city or the town and grabs a whole bunch of stuff, finding that the entire place is completely and totally abandoned. There isn't a single person in sight, and there is some blood in places, and it's awfully suspicious. She goes into a laundromat, and a human with red eyes who walks on both hands and feet as if it were a spider attacks her. She manages to get away and goes back and talks to Alex, who is the injured man. As he is healing and now he's awake, Katie forces him to tell her exactly what he knows, and he informs her of how he came to America from Canada and was trapped in a university with his girlfriend Cassia, and they found out that these people, these rabid people, are infecting everyone and they're intelligent, and so they had to escape. Katie tries to tell the elders the truth of the matter and they refuse to accept it, and so continue on their merry way, just keeping everybody out and everybody in and not giving a shit about it, basically. Katie then has to figure out how to keep her family and friends safe, as well as Alex, before the infection and everything manages to get inside the community, which to her is inevitable. It's going to happen. So, moving on to the characters, which there are a lot of. We start with Katie. First of all, I don't believe that we ever find out her exact age or her last name, which isn't a big deal. I'll get onto the age issue later, but I read the book as if she were somewhere around 18 years old. She could be 17 or 18, I would say. So Katie is a very strong character, but she still has weaknesses, and those weaknesses are usually her parents and the Amish community. She wants to please them. She really wants to make her parents proud of her, but she strives to get freedom more. She really wants to be free from all the rules and the constrictions and everything that prevents her from having a life, especially now that she's even more controlled by being kept in one place when she really wants to go out and see the world. She's also very curious, which reminds me a lot of Alice in Wonderland. She has that same sort of curiosity for that world where she just kind of wants to disobey just to satisfy the curiosity. Elijah Miller is Katie's friend. They have been friends their entire life, and they are pretty much supposed to be married. At one point they've grown up knowing that, and they had planned to go on their Rumspringa together, and later on Elijah decides not to, which affects their friendship, of course. Something that happens to him makes him decide that he just wants to get baptized straight away. He has a very strong sense of duty towards his family and also towards his marriage to Katie. So he really wants to make his parents proud, or his father. He does show an evil streak at the end of the story, which reminds me of the elders in the way that he acts towards them. It's like he's gone to the side of the elders, which in this book are the evil things. But I don't attribute this to his real character. I don't think that he's really an evil person. I think he's more just been affected by this traumatic stuff that has happened, and so it's kind of broken him a little bit, and so at the end he does some stuff that he really shouldn't do and make him look like a really horrible person when in reality he's not. Alexander Green is the injured man that Katie saves, and of course later on, because a love interest, I think we can all see that one coming. He's very patient, both with helping Katie understand some of the aspects of the outside world. For example, when he describes what's going on with the infection, etc., he is really calm and slow and patient with all her questions. He's also very patient in waiting for his death, which he feels imminent and repeats once or twice throughout the book, where he just says that he knows he's gonna die and it's just something that he has had to accept. He's also very protective. First he was protective of Cassia, who's his girlfriend, and later they get separated and he becomes more protective of Katie, to the point where when Katie is in trouble, he's willing to make himself look like a really, really shitty person, awful, awful person, in order to keep her safe. We have Mrs. Ginger Parcel. Mrs. Ginger Parcel. I can never say her last name for some reason. Her character in the book is a woman from the outside who, before anything happens, before anyone is aware of any riots going on, she comes to the Amish community to look at the puppies that Katie breeds. So that's her connection in the story. Mrs. Parcel is sort of the alternative mother figure at the same time that she's the cool aunt or the cool mom and that kind of stuff. Mrs. Parcel is very protective of Katie and shows some mother instinct, some motherly love and protection, and will, automatically go to protect the child. But she's also kind of a lot more lenient because she is from the outside, and so her rules are different from the Amish community, and so I kind of see her as the cool mom. Yeah. The Hexenmeister, he doesn't make a whole lot of appearances. He's just kind of there, and at the end of the book he makes more of an appearance, but yeah. He's very sacrificing. He's willing to do or say something that he doesn't believe in order to stay amongst his people and protect them. He's the one who's in charge of painting all of the hex signs on people's houses and the barns, and makes these things called Himmelsbriefe, where it's basically a letter to God. He's kind of a very religious figure, but at the same time he's kind of a witchcraft figure. It's a very interesting combination that I really, really enjoyed. He's very faithful to his community and his beliefs, but he's a little bit more able to see danger where the elders are not. Because of his position in the community, he's more able to understand kind of what's going on and what needs to be done, and sees that the elders are not doing that. Yeah, he's kind of cool. Katie's family consists of her mother, her father, and her younger sister, Sarah. Her mother and father want only for her to be safe and happy, and they just want the best for her, and so sometimes they come off as seeming a little bit controlling in their ways, but this is the only life that they know, and they want her to be in a good place in it. Sarah, in my opinion, Sarah did not even need to be in the story. She had only one part in the entire book that I felt was necessary, and the rest of it was really, she was just kind of there. She's probably about 5 years old, I would say, from the things that she says in the book and the way that she acts. But yeah, again, we never really get to know what she looks like or how old she is. She's just kind of there, and I didn't really think she needed to be. The bishop and the elders, I kind of see them as the same group. They're both very protective of their community, and they do what is best for the majority, even though it means that a few of the community suffer from it or even die from it. They make some really bad decisions because they don't understand what's actually going on. Even when they're told straight to their face, they refuse to believe it because they say that God will protect them no matter what is happening, because the Amish have been so good and so obedient. So sometimes they make some really crappy decisions that get some people in trouble, or could have gotten people in trouble, but they're doing it not out of cruelty, but out of faith. Now on to the writing style. The writing in this was really simple and pretty easy to digest. I didn't have to read over sentences again to really know what the place looked like. I could get a really detailed description of what one place looked like without it being like too overwhelming. That sentence was really weird, I'm sorry. The writing style was a little bit of a reflection of Katie's world. So sometimes it was very, very simple and just there like her Amish community is, and sometimes it was far more detailed and colorful like the way that she saw the outside world. So I thought that was an interesting thing to find in the writing, within the writing, that it was a reflection of the two worlds that Katie was so involved in. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the cover of the book. So it looks like this. It's a really pretty cover. I really like the cover. The back of it's really nice too. I like the way that it feels. It feels nice. It looks nice. It's got this kind of textured cover on it. Love it. However, there's one thing that I would change about this, and that is her hair. So her hair is the very typical hairstyle that you see nowadays with girls. They just put their hair in a bun and there they go. In the book, there's a part where Sarah braids her hair, and the description of the braid is so lovely and so pretty, and I think that that should have been the hairstyle that they put on this, because this to me looks like, it looks posed now. Like obviously it's posed, but it looks posed because the hair is not real. The hair isn't accurate to what's in the book. She would not have worn her hair like that. She would have worn it braided. And yeah, they mentioned that she has some flyaway hairs every once in a while, but not like that. I mean, that's ridiculous. And I just thought it took away from the beauty of the cover, where when I first saw this, I was not thinking Amish. I just thought she had a piece of fabric in her hand and that it was flowing, and I didn't know what it was. After I read that it was Amish, I was like, oh, it's a bonnet. I get it. If they'd put her hair in the braid, I would have probably thought more that it was either a book that took place back in history where they dressed differently, or that it was something like she was Amish. And so I really think that that's the only flaw with this cover. Otherwise, it's really, really nice, but I think that they should have put the braid in there rather than have this stupid hairstyle that every single girl on the street, I see them wearing their hair like that, and it just is stupid. It's like, she's Amish. Come on, people. I gave this a 5 out of 6 stars for my website. This is really, really, really a good book. I don't know if I would ever reread this. It's not necessarily one that I would read over and over and over again. I may sometime way in the future pick it up again once I've kind of forgotten what it's about. But it's not one that I would reread over and over, which is kind of the reason why I have 6 stars, is if it's good enough for me to read 100 times, it gets 6 stars. Also, I have 6 stars because I don't like uneven numbers, and I'm gonna have to change it to 5 stars, but I really, really don't want to because 6 is just so much nicer. But I'm gonna have to change it to 5 stars. 5 out of 6 for my website. This was a really, really great book. I loved it, and it was perfect for Halloween. So if you guys are looking for a Halloween read, then I definitely recommend this. So yes. I am already started with my next book. I am reading Between by Jessica Warman. Alright, I'm gonna go. So thank you for watching, and I'm sorry this video was so long because it's pretty long. I'm gonna try and edit the crap out of it, but we'll see. And I will see you tomorrow with another video. Okay, bye!